So guys, in today's video, I'm going to be explaining why I think Fortnite OG, like the original Fortnite Chapter 1, why I think it's so special and so good to so many people. The first reason I think people loved it so much was because it felt new, right? It felt new because it was a new game at first, and there had been nothing like it where each new season there's like new themes and stuff, and it was quite an original thing for the creators, Epic Games, to do with their game. Also, there hadn't been any new chapters at the time of Chapter 1, obviously, so it didn't feel repetitive with, all the different content that comes. The second reason I have for Fortnite, like OG, like the original Fortnite feeling so special, is because each new season felt special. Each new season, you were excited for the new update to be able to play it for the first time, see what new or old guns are in there, see what the map has changed like, and especially if there had just been an event the season before, because you're like, oh my god, I wonder what's happened after that event, right? Or if you're able to play straight after that event, right, I'll give you a bit of a teaser what's to come in the next season. So it was quite great back then for the new seasons feeling, fresh, new and exciting. Whereas now it's like, oh, it's a new season, it's fun, excited to see the new stuff, but it's nothing really special. It's happened like 27 times. Another reason Chapter 1 felt so special was because the events felt special. Like back then, you didn't get events like every second season. You got them every season, right? Which was really exciting. Where like you even once you finished watching the previous event, you're like, what's gonna happen in the next event? I'm so excited, right? And it was every event was just so good, right? Even the worst one of that chapter still wasn't even the worst event of all time. It was actually like not even that. It wasn't that bad, but it also wasn't anything special, if that makes sense. But all of the events in that chapter were literally top tier events, whereas now we're getting stuff like Fracture, which aren't amazing, and in Chapter 4 we didn't even get a single event, so that the events are falling off and stuff. So Chapter 1 felt really special because it was the introduction of events, and the events were so often, and all of them were so great. In Chapter 1, the skins were also amazing, which would help a lot. The reason that I'm saying the skins were amazing in Chapter 1, not so now, because in Chapter 1, that's when we got most of the fantastic skins that everyone talks about, like Omega, Renegade Raider, and Skull Trooper. Now, we're getting skins that nobody really talks about. Obviously there's some where there's Midas, a lot of people talk about, there's some crossover skins that a lot of people talk about. But I don't really think anyone's remembering that little, for example, Chapter 3, Season 3, there's this, sort of skin, I think it's supposed to be based off of, a knight or something. But I swear, nobody's talked about that since that Battle Pass. Since the day the season launched, for Chapter 3, Season 3, nobody's talked about it. Most of the skins in each Battle Pass now or in the item shop, nobody talks about them, nobody even recognizes them, nobody knows the names of them, for example, right? Whereas back then we're getting iconic skin after iconic skin after iconic skin. We got Renegade Raider, Skull Trooper, Omega, Ragnarok, Pele, we got Fish Sticks, we got all the great, if you're thinking of a skin, right, other than most of the crossover skins, if you're thinking of, really iconic Fortnite skins, you're most likely thinking of probably a Chapter 1 skin. Now, I said that all the season, or all the events, right, were fantastic, good to fantastic, right? Now, I'm going to talk about each of the seasons. Each of the seasons were good to fantastic, right? Chapter 1, Season 1, I can't really say much, because it's it's a bit, I can't really say much because I didn't play it. But Chapter 1, Season 2, Absolutely fantastic season, top tier. People still love it to this day. People still think it's one of the top 3, sometimes even 2 seasons of all time. Right? For me, it's not personally that high, but it is still pretty high. Chapter 1, Season 3, I didn't really like it, but the majority of the fans loved it. Chapter 1, Season 4, everyone is in everyone's top 5 at least, I think. Chapter 1, Season 5, it's got to be in everyone's top 10 once again. Chapter 1, Season 6, pretty solid season, maybe not as good as the previous 5, but still really good. Chapter 1, Season 7, fantastic, top 3 Chapter 1. Chapter 1, Season 8, another top 3 Chapter 1. And then Chapter 1, Season 9, not many people loved it, let's just say. It wasn't one of the more well-received seasons. And same with Season X. But for Season X, if you took away the mechs, right, which, big part of the season and stuff, let's just say you took them away, that's definitely a top-tier season. But since the mechs were there, I still think it was a good season, in my opinion, but most people didn't really like the season. But I think even with the 2 seasons that people didn't really love, Chapter 1, Season 9 and 10, I think even without them seasons, I think still people, I think still Chapter 1 was such a great chapter for a lot of people. And the 6th and final reason is nostalgia. If you really think about it, Chapter 3 doesn't really feel like, I wish we could go back there so bad. You might be like, I wish we could revisit that map. But it might not be like, Chapter 1, I really, really want to go back there one day. And you don't really feel like that for a lot of the Chapter 3 locations. For example, like the Daily Bugle. It was a great location, but I don't really go, I really, really miss that location. It's one of the best locations in the game. Whereas Chapter 1 locations like Tilted Towers, Retail Row, yeah, a lot of them return a lot of the time, but it's still, it's the OG map. People are like, I really, really want to go back there. I love that. I miss that. And also for the seasons and the skins, right? Renegade Raider, people would pay thousands of pounds for it, so they obviously love the original skins, right? For the seasons, Chapter 1, Season 1, if it happened now, it wouldn't be well received at all, because there's no storyline, there's no event, I actually think there's no map changes at all. I'm guessing barely any updates since it was the start of the game. Let's just say it happened now, it wouldn't be well received. And I'm pretty sure same with Chapter 1, Season 2. But since they're in the past, since they're at the start of Fortnite, and, people are just getting into the game, and, it was quite simple and stuff, it was so good, right? And, yeah, it's just, Chapter 1, it's just, it's 5 years ago now, so people definitely miss it and stuff, so that's probably a big reason why people loved it. Now that I've finished giving my reasons, I think we can all agree that Chapter 1 was the best chapter by far. I think Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and Chapter 4, and Chapter 5 so far are all pretty good and solid, but I think Chapter 1, everyone who played it can agree, it was absolutely fantastic, and it was a great time for Fortnite, and it was the peak of Fortnite, and I think I covered the reasons why people loved it so much in a good way.